So if you're sitting somewhere thinking you started too late for a pension, too late for a benefit, please hear me. I walked in the door at 44. I retired at 57 with health care, and it wasn't the pension that made it all happen. Most people hear government job and they think one thing, pension, but it was never going to be something that was going to change my life, and it didn't. What got me out at 57 with health care in my hand and the finances fully intact, it was something most people in federal service aren't even paying close attention to. And if you came into government work in your 40s, or if you're thinking about it right now, this might be the most important thing you hear today. I want to talk about a specific person right now. You're somewhere in your 40s or your early 50s. Maybe you've looked at federal service and thought, I waited too long. The pension math just doesn't work for me. I didn't start early enough to make it worth anything. I was that person. I walked into federal service at 44, late by anyone's measure. I retired at 57 with my health care intact and a financial picture that actually worked. And a year from that retirement date, we will be on the road, not for a vacation, for the start of something we'd been building toward full-time travel. And my job made all of this possible, and it wasn't because of my pension. Here's what nobody tells you about retiring early from a government job. It's not one thing that makes it work, it's three things, and they only work because of how they fit together. First, there's something called MRA plus 10. Minimum retirement age around 57 for most federal employees, plus 10 years of service. Now, that combination, it gives you the legal right to leave early and keep your benefits intact. Secondly, FEHB, your Federal Employees Health Benefits Plan. When you retire under MRA plus 10, you get to keep it. The same health care you had the day you were working. You still pay your portion of the premium, but you are not uninsured. That is not a small thing. Most early retirees have to solve that problem from scratch. Mine was already solved. Third, this is the one that actually made the math work, my TSP, my Thrift Savings Plan. Here's the thing about the MRA plus 10. It comes with a catch, and it is not a small one, and it's real. When you take it, your annuity is permanently reduced by 5% for every year before 62. I was 57, so that's a 25% reduction. Gone. Forever. I'm not going to pretend that's not nothing. Here's what it made it okay, and I want you to hear this. I had spent 10 years maximizing my TSP contribution, especially in my 50s when the catch-up limits kick in and you can put in more. By the time I left, my TSP was big enough to absorb that 25% reduction. Our life wasn't going to fall apart because of that 25%. I know the percentage looks terrifying, but in real dollars, against the full picture of our finances, we decided to sit down with our financial planner, someone we actually trust, and ran the numbers. And at the end of that meeting, the math said, you can do this. The pension alone was never going to be the key to my ability to retire early. But the pension plus TSP plus healthcare, that was a perfect combination for me. Okay, I have to tell you about a very specific panic attack I had 48 hours before the end of open season for FEHB. Now, we were planning long international trips outside of the U.S., and it suddenly hit me. I had never once asked whether my FEHB plan actually covered me overseas. And all that planning, I didn't think about it. I thought that was a future me problem. So I did what any completely unprepared person does. I spent an entire weekend with Steve on government websites, health plans, fully convinced I had made a catastrophic mistake and was about to become an uninsured American in Southeast Asia. But what I found out, most FEHB plans do cover emergency care internationally. Some cover significantly more. Details depend on your specific plan, and there are options. And it is worth checking out before you decide to retire. But I was not uninsured the moment I was going to leave the country. And of course, I was already in the right plan. The research? Just do it, and do it beforehand, not 48 hours before open season ends. Now, here's what I almost did. So even after we had run all the numbers, I was still second guessing myself. Even after our financial planner and Kevin said we were good, I was still fixated on that 25% pension reduction. So I started looking for a way to get around it. You see, MRA plus 10 does give you an option that you can delay your actual annuity. You'll get your full pension, no reduction. Sounds smart, right? Except there's a catch. And I wasn't thinking clearly about it. If you delay your annuity, you lose your FEHB coverage in that gap. No federal health care until you start collecting your annuity. So I thought, okay, I can get around this. Steve can add me to his insurance. Problem solved. Except that turned out to be significantly more expensive than I expected. Covering a spouse isn't cheap, and it suddenly made the math where I'm trying to avoid 25%. That thought process started falling apart. To be honest, I was more focused on the penalty, that I almost gave up the exact benefit that makes it one of the key things so that I can retire early and be able to travel full time. So Steve was the one who helped me to see it. I had to stop optimizing around the 25%. Just take the penalty, start living. But here's what I was actually buying with it. I wasn't just buying a smaller pension. I was buying my health care so it could bridge to Medicare. I was buying the ability to leave at 57 instead of grinding towards 62. I was buying back the years where my body mostly cooperates for those hikes, expedition trips that we actually want to do in our future. The 25% penalty, it was just a purchase. And when I stopped looking at it like that, something I was losing, and started looking at what it was getting, it stopped being scary to me. I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. So if you're sitting somewhere thinking you started too late for a pension, too late for benefits, too late for any of it, please hear me. I walked in the door at 44. I retired at 57 with health care, and it wasn't the pension that made it all happen. Maximize your TSP. That's the real advice. That's the thing that gives you options. And for us, those options meant something very specific. They meant we could stop planning the life and actually start living it. We're actually on our way to full-time travel. And this is one of the pieces that made it all possible. That's what this channel is all about. The real steps it takes to get there and how we're actually taking them. So if that's a journey you're about to take too, or just interested in learning more about it, just stick around. We're right in the middle of it. I know for me, if I hadn't have made that simple move to government employee, I wouldn't be retired right now. So I do count myself lucky. Not in the way that it was a master plan all along, just lucky to have stumbled into it without fully grasping the true benefits. Be sure to stick around and check out our next video so that you can be more prepared than us. Thanks for watching. See you in the next adventure.